ridiculous.
Well, here's the thing.
Maybe. Sometimes.
Tell me about this. I want to know more.
Oh, yeah. No.
Holy cow.
We've had a lot of fun.
So, guess where I spent my morning?
Was it someplace fun?
Just the opposite.
That circle of hell known as
The DMV.
Oh, boy.
Actually, it is fun to go and people watch.
yes.
Fun to be there for a reason.
And did you come out
Yeah.
of it with a shiny new driver's license?
No, I came out with a little scrap piece of paper. All that
so
effort.
wrong.
Yes, and I didn't even get to look at my photo before she processed it.
Oh,
You know, you've got to check your photo and make sure it's good,
right?
but they don't let you do that. So I was really stressed.
Yeah. Wow. Because we get ours right away. You get it all hot off the laminating machine.
No, not there. You get a little printout, and then you go get your photo taken, and then you cross your fingers and hope that it comes in the mail in 3 weeks.
Wow. How long did you have to wait for that little scrap of paper?
Well, I made an appointment, so I was able to, I had like a 10-minute
Make
wait.
appointments. I don't think we have that here in New Jersey.
Oh,
You
no.
just go and wait.
You got to make an appointment here. 'Cause
Can you
if
kind of
an appointment, you will be old and gray before you get your turn.
do they have appointments where you are, Catherine?
Not for things like renewing your license.
Yeah.
For things like taking the driver's test,
Uh-huh.
they do, I know.
Yeah.
Because my daughter's friends have made appointments like weeks in
Mhm.
advance for that. But I'm pretty sure the last time I renewed my license, which like Nicole was when I suddenly realized that my birthday was about to happen and my license was about to expire. I was flying somewhere like imminently, so I really, really needed my license.
Wow.
So yeah, I remember I had to like run to the DMV like right before it closed.
Oh, see, no, if you're not at the DMV, if you don't have an appointment and you're not at the DMV by, let's say 9 in the morning, you're not getting in that day.
Forget it.
Really? Wow.
Oh, no, the lineup goes out the door and around
That's
the building and
rough.
down the block and a Trump rally. I didn't say that, did I?
Well, we from time to time pick different DMVs that we decide we're going to go to because we like the way they have a short line or something else. I know we were getting a car registered and we went to this one DMV and there was a line out the door and it looked like the people were about, 15 minutes away from rioting. So we wound up finding this one that's maybe 30 or 40 minutes away from our house, but it's in an indoor mall. And so even if you have to stand in line outside of the agency, you're in an air-conditioned place.
Really?
Yeah. So that's where we've been going lately. It's worth the drive. And, last time when I went to get my license renewed, I spent quite a long time in the winding line, it's like an amusement park ride that has the little, they need to get like amusement parks. They need to put a little sign up that says how many minutes you are away from getting inside.
And some
That's
entertaining little displays of animatronic figures.
Exactly.
And get a fast track pass or fast pass.
That's right. Yes. Yes. Oh, there would be violence if people got it back. Every now and then they let somebody in ahead of time because they're just doing something small or there's different lines for different things and they let people in. Or I think there was a person in a wheelchair they let in early and there was definitely unrest in the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's this wonderful episode on one of my favorite TV shows called Broad City.
Yeah.
And it's about one of the lead characters going to get her license renewed.
Mm-hmm.
And the way they depicted the DMV in that episode was perfect. It was like this dark, dusty, old building, and people were growing old before your eyes. And it just, the way they depicted it was classic.
Aw.
Classic DMV experience in Southern California.
Find me a link to that episode or that on YouTube.
I will. So yeah, back home, I've recovered And yes, I will wait my new driver's license.
And we'll have to put up the picture from your driver's license on Facebook when you get it, right? Well, it depends. Maybe it'll be good. You never know.
No, I was having a bad hair day. It's not going to be good.
They made me take my glasses off when I had mine. I guess they always have. So I have that, kind of glazed eye look that
Unfocused.
extremely nearsighted people get when you take their glasses off. So basically, anybody looking at my license is going to think I was on drugs. But really, no, I had been at the DMV for a really long time and I didn't have my glasses on. But we're glad you're back in time to record with us today, Nicole, and that you are able to safely and legally drive again, as long as you actually do get your license when they say you will. And to our listeners, we say hello and welcome to Parenting Roundabout, a weekly podcast about the things that parents are talking about, obsessing about, and complaining about right now. I'm Terri Morrow, and with me today are Nicole Erdix.
Hello.
And Catherine Haleko.
Hello.
Today on the podcast, we're going to talk backyard dreams on our Friday speed round, shout out some stuff we like on the Roundabout Roundup, hear an interview with occupational therapist Meghan Corridan, and do some shameless self-promotion. But first, we're going to talk about buying things, and not little things, but big things, the kind of big things that cause stress. I am now going to curl in a ball and think about the washer and dryer we just bought while y'all talk about this topic. Nicole, you've recently had a ridiculous purchase. Is this correct?
Oh, it's been crazy. It's been the year of the car. We're not talking like the year of the dog or the year of the rat. The year of the car. The car is the So back in February, you may all remember that my Buick Enclave died.
Yes.
And so we were left without a family vehicle. And then we decided, and then my daughter had her driver's license. She had just gotten her driver's license.
Mm-hmm.
And my son, his truck, he was having issues with his truck.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to do a major family vehicle reorganization. Which was really dumb. That's we thought it was smart, but in retrospect, probably wasn't so smart. But we went and we thought, okay, well, we'll trade in my son's truck and put it towards the purchase of a newer, more economical vehicle for him.
Right.
And then we would get ourselves a family car.
Uh-huh.
Kristen and I would drive. And then we've got this trusty old blue Pontiac that has been with us forever and has seen us through thick and thin and is probably going to last another 10 years. So anyway, we went to the car dealer, and my husband, he's a big planner. So he had, most of the legwork done in terms of what we wanted and I wanted to pay for it. But we came out with 2 new vehicles and one of them was not for us.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, one for my son and one for my daughter, and we were still without a family vehicle.
Oh my. You guys are really nice.
Well, I think we're being nice to ourselves.
Don't let our kids hear this, okay? Because we're in big trouble.
No, because we're doing ourselves a favor because we don't have to drive her. She can drive herself now, right? It's actually a gift to us.
Uh-huh.
But, so anyway, then... So we had these 2 vehicles, still without a family vehicle. Then my son gets in a car accident through no fault of his own 2 weeks ago. Car is totaled.
And this is the brand new car that he just got.
Yes.
Brand new car. Oh, and FYI, this is my public service announcement. Get gap insurance.
Oh.
Buy your new vehicle. Do not go without it. I highly recommend it.
Oh, no. Yeah, but you did have it then.
Nope.
No gap.
No.
Now, what is that? That's between when you buy the thing and when it's officially under your insurance, or what?
No, it basically covers the depreciation of the car between the time that you buy it and the time it's totaled or a loss.
Wow.
So in a month and a half, we lost $2,000 on the car.
Wow.
So a gap insurance would pay for that.
Aha.
Plus whatever value it is on the, on the market.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So we
are a useful podcast, handing out Important tidbits of information, even to the podcasters who have never heard of these things.
Yes. And I'm going to recommend it again in our recommendations at the end of this.
Okay.
Stress how important it is. Get gap insurance. Anyway, so car is totaled. Back to the dealership we go. And then we get another new vehicle, exact same kind, because we, received a settlement from the insurance company.
Yeah.
We're able to do most of that car.
Yeah.
And so 3 cars later, we're still without a family vehicle. What we needed initially.
I think you better quit while you're behind here. I don't know.
So we've spent a grand total of something crazy like 20 odd hours in car dealerships over the last couple.
Man.
Anyway.
That's almost as bad as the DMV, the dealer.
Yeah.
Just as bad. It is horrendous.
And if you had to go to the DMV to register each of those vehicles also?
No, thankfully they do it there when you buy the car.
Oh, nice.
Yes, then you get, you do all your insurance.
That makes sense, yes. We had to do it because we bought it from a friend. So.
Right. Yeah, no, it's all done there.
Nice.
They give you a full tank of gas, and then you feel all good about yourself for 5 minutes and realize what you just did.
Man, that's a lot of money.
Oh, I don't even want to start.
I'm hyperventilating just thinking about it. It's not even my money.
No.
We're in a stage with our cars where about every month we have 3 cars and they're all pretty old, and so every month one of them needs like $400 to $700 worth of work at the mechanic. So it's and it's like probably we should just buy new ones, but that's a bigger outlay of cash all at once.
Right.
We're taking on loans, so it's just, we'll just baby these on a little while longer. But if I ever sat down with all the mechanic bills, we probably could have bought a car.
That was what we did, with my car that I had for 13 years. It was like every couple of months it would need something. And we'd say, well, it's not as much as a car payment, when you amortize it over a few months. But yeah, it's stressful.
Yeah, we have that times 3.
Yeah.
So it's like we had a couple of months off and then we had to go back. And I'm like, oh, really? Really? Can we wait a little longer?
Well, ideally, with 2, because we replaced one, but with 2 of the vehicles in the family, we can, coast for a couple of years, I hope. Knock on wood, quickly.
But you still have to get that family car, right?
But we still have to get the family car, which means another trip to the car dealership.
Yeah, they should like you. They
I know.
rub their hands when they see you coming.
Volume discount at this point.
So, have you bought all your cars? Have they all been Toyotas?
Okay, so recently, yes, because we really liked the Toyota experience and the vehicle. And we saw how it basically saved my son's life in a car crash.
Well, it seems to me like you have some testimonial to make that should score you a free car. Don't you think, Catherine? Don't you think we're a Toyota family? We got all these Toyotas, and then one of them we had an accident, and it saved our son's life, and we're always going to buy Toyotas. They should be happy to hear that.
Because you know what? We were actually, so our family vehicle, we were initially thinking of another type of family vehicle from a different company, but after seeing the Toyota, we are now looking at a family vehicle made by Toyota. Because
put this woman in a commercial Toyota and give her a car.
But
mention her podcast on the.
But yeah, no, they've been great cars. But the best thing about this whole experience, though, is that we've done a lot of it online. So we've done a lot of communication online with the salesperson.
Mm-hmm.
So we've gone in. They've had the car waiting for us. We've done a quick test drive, and then we've spent the rest of the time doing all the financial stuff. But it certainly has cut out a lot of the stress to try and do.
Yeah, that's true. That is a nice thing. I like being able to do that or even buy stuff online.
Yeah.
So, what have you bought expensively lately, Catherine?
Well, I mean, it's been 2 years since I got my car, but that was, after 13 years of my old car. And I have to, it makes me feel like anti-feminist, but I just completely checked out of that whole thing. I was like, I want a station wagon. And then I let my husband do the rest of it. You know, I mean,
Really?
yeah, because I really just don't care that much. Like, I said, I want a station wagon and I want heated seats. And really, anything else is gravy. And, you know, because I knew he wasn't going to be like, well, why don't you buy this junker that, you know, you'll probably die.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, he... So yeah, I mean, like, I didn't test drive it. I didn't deal with the dealership. I just kind of let him go. But I mean, this is the same man who, when he had to replace a car, just one day turned up the new car. And I was like, where'd that come from? He's like, yeah, the old one was done. I needed a new one.
Hey.
But he got basically the same car we already had. He just got another one. So
Wow.
I don't know. And
I
I
just
also
packed my car that I need to know what it's going to be like.
I know. I mean, I spend a lot of time in the car too, but I guess I just can't. Maybe I feel like you can't really tell from a test drive, like whether it's gonna really make it different. I don't know. It's. I like to just kind of check out of that process, which is probably not a good idea, but the fact remains.
I think I once went and bought a car like on my lunch break from work.
Wow.
I mean, I didn't pay for it because I didn't have, you know, the check for it or anything. But we had been looking around for a Jeep and hadn't found one in the color we liked or a dealership we liked. And I just drove over to some place on my lunch, found one I liked, said,
I'll
okay.
take it.
I told my husband, well, I found a Jeep. I think he was a little surprised. But and I still have that Jeep. That's one of the cars we're still limping along. So we've had these cars a long time. But I don't want to think about having to buy a new one. It's too much pressure.
Catherine, I'm looking at our notes here, and it looks like you checked out of your house buying experience.
Yes, I was noticing that too. What is the story, girl?
Yes.
That's more serious than a car.
So when we moved here to Wisconsin, we came for a house hunting trip, and we looked at a bunch of places, and there were some that we liked. There were some that we definitely were interested in, and there was this one that we drove by with the realtor, and she's like, well, that one's going to be on the market on Monday, but I can't show it to you today. They won't let anybody in today. And we were like, oh, but look at it, it's a great location. Obviously we can see that from the outside. And she had a list of all of the improvements that had been made in the last few years, but no pictures of the inside. And they were really firm on, nobody can get in until Monday.
Wow.
So, and I had to leave. I had to go back. My husband was able to stay for another day. So we knew that it would be, we thought that the house would get a lot of interest. So we put in an offer without seeing it.
Wow.
And it was contingent upon him actually seeing it because he was going to be able to stay. And so, yeah, he stayed an extra day. He checked it out. He said, yep, we still want it. And I didn't see it until I showed up.
Wow.
After it closed. He closed it without me because I wasn't here yet. And so, yeah.
Wow.
Luckily, I liked it.
This sounds like it would be a really good episode of like House Hunters,
Right. It'd be even better if I showed up and was like, what did you do? This is horrible.
I hate it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, he was able to tell me about it. And this was like, this was 13 years ago. It wasn't like he was walking through it with me on FaceTime. I had to just, I could look at the pictures that the realtor had put up, because they were listing it. But that was it. That was as much as I got.
I mean, I've had my husband get us rental places without me seeing. But I was never happy with what he chose.
Yes, this is the problem. It's like I wish I could do stuff like that. Just have my husband go pick a car or go pick a house or any major purchase.
Yeah.
But it's like he doesn't have the particular desire to do that. And I would never be happy.
Mhm.
So, I mean, as we saw with the recent, I did let him and my daughter go pick out the washer and dryer, and that was okay. But then I had a little breakdown about whether the size was going to be right. So I understand why they say, why don't you just go do it? But in theory, the idea of just sending someone else out to do the work and being happy with whatever comes is appealing.
So,
Right, and you would
Impossible.
think that I would not be able to do that. You know,
Yeah.
like given
Do you think you could do it now? How long ago was that?
the house?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I mean, it was a pretty unique circumstance.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I had seen the outside. I had seen the list of all the new things that had, you know, all the updates that had been made on the inside. And we were kind of choosing between this one and another one where I had walked through it and I liked it, but it needed like a ton of cosmetic work.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we had a 2-year-old, like I'm not really into like, let's move somewhere and like rip out every single piece of
Oh,
carpet
gee.
and like redo the kitchen because it has this totally weird built-in pizza oven and, you know, like, so the idea of a place that was mostly ready, mostly
That's very appealing.
ready was very appealing. So
Yeah, that's important.
Well, I think just listening to your story, Catherine, I can conclude that I am far too picky to let my husband go out and buy something big. So I need to be with him. I've got my little checklist.
See, that would be a good HGTV. Give us a call, because wouldn't that be a good series? You know, of one spouse goes and picks out a house, and then you see how the other spouse reacts.
yeah. I
That
would
sounds
watch.
tailor-made. I would watch that. You know, they would talk ahead of time about what they want, and then
Yeah.
they could each go and pick something out,
Yeah.
and then see how the other ones like them.
Yeah,
Okay.
but then you wouldn't have the stakes of
That's true.
that
Okay,
it
so one of them
already
has
was
to do
bought.
it, and the other one has to be stuck with it for life.
Like it or not.
And then it could be followed by an episode of Divorce Court.
A
So-
divorce court. Exactly. Are you going to pay for the divorce?
Yeah, they
Oh
should.
my God.
They should chip in for that.
Well, I think this kind of moves us right into our speed round.
Yeah,
because we
yeah.
are
I was
going to-
actually thinking of this.
Yeah. So our speed round question is, if you could build anything in your backyard, what would it be? And I guess, you know, spouse be damned. Like, you choose what you're putting back there. What would you do, Terry?
I want one of those little tiny homes in our backyard,
Oh,
in my
yeah.
office.
Mhm.
Yes.
I don't think I have a big enough yard for it. And I know for sure that my city has all sorts of ordinances that would discourage that. But if I had my way,
Right.
that's what I'd like to have. When my son was little and enjoyed playing in cars, I always wanted to get some old rusted out car and put it in the backyard so that he could just go play in it all the time. But I'm pretty sure the city would have had something to say about that too.
Yeah, you might have had to go live out in the country if you wanted
we
to.
get citations if our bushes are too high. So
Yeah.
I don't think that they want tiny homes or derelict cars.
Of course.
Right. And how about you, Nicole? Do you have some ideas?
Yes, I would love to have, well, like Terry mentioned, we call them casitas out here.
That'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like a casita, a pool, an outdoor barbecue, an outdoor lounge room with an outdoor fireplace,
Wow.
an outdoor TV.
You're just planning to never go in the house, right?
Yes, and a fire pit, gas fire pit.
Wow.
Nice.
That's my,
Yeah,
well, you know, Southern California, it's all about what's outside, right, in your backyard.
that's right. See, half the year, all that stuff would be under snow here, so it's a little less appealing. I would have to, put on my boots to go get to my little tiny home, but
Right.
I would still do it. We had a pool. We had a pool for a while, like an above ground pool at our old house, and it eventually was such a pain to
Mhm.
use. You're constantly dumping chemicals in that thing. So
Yeah, those scare me. We have somebody down the street that's putting in a pool, and we just keep driving by it going like, what are you doing? You can use that for 2 months. And that's it. And it's like their entire backyard. There's almost nothing left. And it's a huge house. I mean, the house is probably at least, I don't know, 8,000 square feet or so. I mean, it's a big house. And it just seems like, really? I don't know what you're doing here.
Our neighbors also have one of those pools. It's the entire backyard that they use like 2 months out of the year. It's not a humongous house. It's the same size as our house, but it's, there's walk around space and that's about it.
Yeah. That looks like what these people
no longer appeals to me. It was fun. It was fun, a little bit of fun and a ton of work. So
also when your kids are little, it just scares.
Yes.
Like I never, not that I don't think we looked at any houses with pools when we moved here because, not too many people have them, but I wouldn't have wanted it just because of having little kids.
Yeah. If ours had been in ground, I would have had to put up really, really high fences or something, but it was being above ground. You could kind of put the ladder up and it wasn't such a big deal, but it was a pain. And what would you put in your backyard, Catherine?
Well, for one thing, I would put some sort of a tunnel or walkway covered and heated from my house to my garage because we have a detached garage, and when it's cold, it is not fun at all.
That's awful.
And when the kids were really little, and it would just be like such a production to get them, the 100 yards or whatever. Not even from the back of the house, from the back door to so I would have wanted some sort of tunnel, and maybe it could have had like a light feature, like in the Detroit airport where you go underground and you get a light show.
Nice.
So, but I also kind of want a hot tub. I feel like there's no place inside for it, so outside would be pretty nice. Again, I mean, because I think. Number one, it doesn't take up as much room as a pool. And you can use it for a lot more.
True, and your kids are older, so they're going to want to bring their teenage friends over to
that might be a
boil in
drawback.
it. Your daughter is like, yes, Mom.
Well, we all have our dreams of what we would do in our backyards. If we had all the money and all
those things would probably fit under our category of things that we spend a lot of money on and stress over, though, right?
Yeah, but this is all a fantasy at this point.
Yes, that's true.
You're allowed to wish for whatever you want. All right, and that will bring us to the end of our Friday speed round, which you can hear a new speed round every Monday through Thursday.
Yes, and now we're going to bring you some of the things we've read or seen or used recently that we want to shout out and share with you in our Parenting Roundabout Roundup. And I will start by celebrating the fact that I once again have coffee in my life. Lent is over. Easter is here. I am sipping a nice peppermint bark donut shop coffee and enjoying it very much. So I am fully caffeinated once again. It is safe to be in my presence. If you've been hiding, come on out.
Come out now.
And tip of the hat again to Irish breakfast tea, which saw me through.
Good.
Catherine, what are you roundabouting today?
Well, I think I probably won't get a chance to mention on round 2 because we have so much else to discuss over there. That I saw the movie Lion, which is one of the Academy Award nominees that I had wanted to see and finally got a chance.
Sorry. I have not seen it, but I have listened to its score many, many, many times.
Yeah, and it was really good. I mean, it's very sad because, it starts out with a 5-year-old boy getting separated from his brother and ending up first living on the street and then in like this kind of scary orphanage, and finally he's adopted and into an Australian family, but there's repercussions obviously from being, he knows, his whole life he knows like I have a family already, I have a birth family and they don't know what happened to me. Right. So, and eventually he is able to reconnect with them, and that's what the whole movie is about. But it sounds like it would be just crushing to watch.
It really does.
But, it is uplifting and, it's not hard to look at Dev Patel for a couple hours. And the little boy is completely adorable also.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
you've always got one or the other of them.
You just close your ears and just look. Now, the score is beautiful, though. You should do that either.
Okay.
So, Nicole, what do you have today? Oh,
Well-
you're going to sing the praises of Gap Insurance again.
Yes. As I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, everybody go out and get yourselves Gap insurance when you buy a new car. You can only buy it at the time you get your new car
Ah,
because new cars depreciate once you drive them off the lot. And if you
Wow.
get in a very bad accident, which I hope you never do,
mm-hmm.
Gap insurance will help you keep the money that you would have lost in the depreciation.
Wow.
So how long does it go for?
Good question. I think it's like, I think if you put more than 10,000 down, you don't need it.
Okay.
So anything, like if you, say if you're only putting $1,000 down on the car or $2,000, then they recommend you get it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have enough equity in the car or not even in the car, but I don't know. I don't know that much about it. I just know that we could have,
Yeah.
So with our month-old car, after my son was in an accident and totaled it, we lost about $3,000.
Wow.
So that insurance would have made up for it, but we didn't get it. We'll get it.
Everybody go and Google Gap Insurance when
Yes.
you're done listening to this podcast.
Yes.
Learn all about it.
Yes.
Perhaps we'll provide a link.
All right. Well, that was eclectic. Our our roundup today. And now we're going to do another roundup of sorts. We have an interview with Meghan Corridan. She is an occupational therapist, and she joins us about once a month to talk about cool things she has found to use with her clients and with her daughter, who is a first grader, I think. So this time around, Meghan is going to talk with us mostly about outdoor toys since spring is kind of finally here. So let's hear from Meghan. We are back with Meghan Corridan, who is a pediatric occupational therapist and also a mom to a young daughter. And she joins us about once a month to talk about toys, games, activities, other things that kids can do to work on lots of skills that they need for school and for life. So this time of year, we are finally able to start playing outside again, at least where Meghan and I live in the northern half of the country. We're excited to be able to start playing outside. So Meghan has found some great outdoor toys that she wants to tell us about.
So happy spring, everyone.
Yay.
Warmer where you are, and that you get to benefit from some of these awesome outdoor products. One of the first thing I want to talk about is it's called the Swerfer Swing, and I use it in my in practice in my gym, but it's meant to be outdoors, hanging from like a big tree, and it is basically a surfboard for swinging.
Wow.
It goes very fast. I've had some daredevil kids scare me, but it's a great swing for working on balance, coordination, motor planning, and overall body strength. And the kids have so much fun. So I recommend it for some of my families who have kids who are bigger, but still seek a lot of movement. And swinging is a great sensory activity, and this one is especially great because it's providing a lot of other things, the strengthening and endurance while swinging and giving them that input, and they have tons of fun.
So do they stand up on it, or do they sit, or they can do both?
You can do both. It's meant to stand on, and it's basically like a surfboard kind of platform, and then it's got two handles on either side that adjust up and down depending on the size of the person using it. My husband has claimed he's going to come into the office one day here and use it. And we have the grown-ups in our gym have used it before,
right?
To show the kids how to use it.
I know we found that when our kids outgrew the little swing set that we had in our backyard, we just put up like a disc swing, like just a plastic circle on a rope attached to a tree branch. And they really like it, especially my younger one who's almost 12. I mean, every time he walks through the backyard, he'll jump on there and swing a couple times. And I think it's just like soothing and, gets a little bit of, he just likes the sensation, and it's a nice way to get that even without having the swing set that he outgrew.
Right. They're great. Kids love swings. In New York City, there's a lot of playgrounds that they're opening up, and they've really done a lot with adding swings for bigger kids.
That's nice.
You see the kids on them all the time, and the grown-ups, but you're never too old to swing.
Right. And it's nice if you have the space, whether indoors or out, to have your own, so that, because sometimes they get crowded at a playground. So
absolutely. So another great outdoor activity, it's very simple. Chalk and the sidewalk. That is one of the things my daughter looks forward to more than anything during the summer. Coming when we get home from work, now that it's staying light much later, we'll sit outside and we'll all draw. And you can draw pictures. You can practice writing letters. One of the things that she likes to do is draw pictures that it looks like she's holding a bunch of balloons or something like that. But it's just a simple thing like being able to do hopscotch or whatever can also work on improving gross motor skills and organizational skills. We have friends come over and they'll just sit outside for hours playing with their chalk.
Yeah. And I had a friend once who would draw like start and finish lines for her kids. So like boundaries, basically, like you can ride your tricycle this far, and use chalk for that, which I thought was a great idea.
Great idea. Yeah. It's very visual. And kids can sort of work on improving independence and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So what other outdoor toys do you recommend?
Another great thing is the stomp rocket or the double stomp rocket. It's that can be used indoors or outdoors. The nice thing about using it outdoors is that you can make it go much further. You can I like the double stomp rocket because you can have games with kids. So like each who can make their stomp rocket go further, who can pick their stomp rocket, like their rocket up faster and bring it back. Another great thing is having one kid stand and try and catch the rockets. So there's a lot of, it's working on balance and coordination, overall body strength, but there's a lot of social opportunities in it too, which I always try and find toys, especially for kids who struggle socially. I try and find things that are simple enough that there doesn't have to be competition. This doesn't have to be a competition. This can be cooperative play, but it's fun. It's simple. Not a lot of directions required. So that's one of my favorite things for outdoor toys.
Yeah, and just getting to stomp on things. That's always good.
That is always good. Can get some frustration out for kids too.
Right, exactly. Good. What else do you have? Are there particular ride-on toys that you like to recommend?
Living in New York City, once Quinn was out of her stroller, it just started to take way too long to get her from point A to point B. So she has been on a scooter since she was, I think she got it when she turned for her second Christmas. So she wasn't even 2 years old. So she's been riding one of those, the kick scooters on New York and Brooklyn since she was about 20 months old.
Wow.
And I think it's one of those things that you see in New York City or any part of New York all the time. It's great because, again, it gets kids to places quicker, but it works on balance and coordination, motor planning, and for some of my kids who have a hard time with focus and attention, especially in school, I recommend that parents have them ride their scooters to school.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives them some of that sensory input, that organizational input that their body might need, and helps get them focused and ready for a busy day in the classroom.
Right. That's great. That's really helpful. I know that, walking to school is great for all of that, but sometimes it's just not practical,
Right.
depending on where you live and how much time you have, how far you have to go. So that little extra help of having the scooter could
Right.
really make a big difference to a parent.
Right. And it's also great because if you have another child who might be in a stroller,
Mm-hmm.
and it gives them a little bit more independence, and helps you get where you need to without too much stress of waiting for that kid lagging 20 behind you.
Right. Exactly. Great. Are there any other ones that you wanted to mention? Other outdoor toys?
There's a company called Ogo Sport. It's actually a Brooklyn-based company, and they make a ton of outdoor activity. Like they have like those, they call them trampoline sets. It's like the hand trampoline, so it's like the back and forth kind of game. They have something now called the Jab It set, which is a toss and catch game that it sort of just takes it to the next level. Instead of being sort of like a flat board, it is sort of like a stick with a curve, and you have to toss the ball or whatever it is to your partner.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great for working on that eye-hand coordination, the focus, attention. It also works on regulation because they have to figure out like how hard they can pass it to their friend.
Right.
And it's really well made. It doesn't take up a lot of space. And I think when kids can master that kind of activity, they feel really good about themselves, because it can be very challenging for a lot of kids.
Mm-hmm.
But any of their products, they have another set out right now that, with the whole bottle flipping that's so popular. They
Yes.
have a really cool activity set that you have to flip something into a target somewhere. So their website is worth spending some time poking around and looking at what they have and what might be good for your people.
Good. Okay. Bottle flipping. Oh boy.
Yeah.
I would like to channel that energy into something else.
Yeah.
So I'm all for that. Well, good. Well, thank you so much, Meghan. We appreciate all these great ideas, and we can be inspired to get outside and play and really work up some energy. So thank you so much for all these great ideas, and we will look forward to talking to you next time. Thanks, Meghan.
Sounds great.
Great. And now for our final segment today, we're going to do a little shameless self-promotion and direct you to some of the things on our sites that we think you should take a look at. Terri, what have you got for us this week?
Yeah, I wrote a humor piece for the Friendship Circle about 52 things parents of kids with special needs wish they could have deducted on their taxes. I should have put it out before tax season and had wished that they could, but it went out on the day after tax day. So it's things that you wish you could have deducted, like, all the therapy items we buy for our kids and try and they don't like, and, all the mileage to different therapists, and all the coffee and chocolate we drink to drown our sorrows, and all of these things that these special expenses that we have. So I will have a link to that on the Friendship Circle blog.
Great. I'm actually going to go over there after this podcast and have a look.
I just hope it gives everybody a little laugh after a stressful time. I left my taxes to the very, very, very last minute and then found out that I owed a whole bunch. So it's been a rough week.
Drink that coffee. Drink more coffee.
Yeah, I need more coffee. It's a good thing.
Yeah. Catherine, how about you?
I will just mention over at rd.com, Reader's Digest, I have a piece on ways that you can improve your home or fix up your home for aging parents, just to make it safer. So,
okay.
And some of them are pretty quick and easy, night lights and things like that. And some are a little more involved, but,
Okay.
I hope it's helpful to someone.
Are you slipping the address for that to your kids as to what they need to do?
Not yet.
Just so you know, sweetie, you can pick up the hall lights
Right.
at Home Depot. And
Well, and I am just going to talk about my website, The Inclusive Class, because I haven't done much writing on it lately. I've been working on my book again, so but I am doing a revamp of the website, theinclusiveclass.com. So it's in the works. It's a work in progress. So it's a little bit more modern looking. If you want to go check it out, it's at theinclusiveclass.com. Lots of resources for teachers and parents of kids with special needs.
Awesome.
all right.
Well, very good. So that's going to be it for this week's episode of Parenting Roundabout. We hope you enjoyed it and that you will join us every week. You can listen to podcast episodes on parentingroundabout.com or download them from iTunes. Please subscribe so you'll get all of our podcasts and mini podcasts. You can also follow us on Twitter, where I am C. Holeko, Nicole is at Nicole Eridix, and Terri is Mamatude. You can also follow the podcast on Twitter, that's at Roundabout Chat, and look for us on Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, YouTube, and Instagram too. Best of all, stop by our podcast page at parentingroundabout.com and read recaps, find links on everything we mentioned, and talk back to us in the comments. Thanks to John Morin for providing our in and out music, and I wish everyone a great week.